right? You know, vases and, you know, I mean, just, oh man, chandeliers, the whole nine, right? And that's about gospel, you know, prosperity gospel. God wants you to be rich. You know, that kind of thing. Dr. King wasn't about that at all. Dr. King put his life on the line. And when Dr. King was in his I have a dream phase, brothers and sisters, that's where he could have sold out. Dr. King, they tried to get Dr. King to sell out so many times, because when you win the Nobel Peace Prize, when you're voted to be the man of the year by Time magazine, and you're voted that type of thing, what they're telling you is that you're the nice one. See, during his I have a dream stage, they were pushing Martin to keep people away from it. Excuse me for a second. Can y'all still hear me? Y'all can hear me? Coming? I'm 1 o'clock already. I don't think it's, yeah, there it is. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. During his I have a dream phase, that was a phase that Martin, they were trying to buy Martin off. Man of the Year, Time magazine. Nobel Peace Prize. You're the good one. You know how they do to us, right? You're the good one. He's the bad one, right? Malcolm was the bad one. Martin, you're the good one. You're the nice one, right? So right at that time, Martin could have went ahead and sold out. But one of the things that we love so much about Martin, Dr. King, was that he didn't sell out. He began to still change. He began to evolve. He began to deal with things that actually signed his death warrant. As long as he was talking about, you know, I have a dream and maybe one day so on and so forth, that's fine. As long as he's talking about civil rights, that's fine. But as soon as he started talking about Vietnam, that means he was internationalizing his scope. As soon as he started talking about poor people's campaign, now you're dealing with economics. As soon as he started talking about the haves and the have-nots and how the rich have to focus on the poor and how the poor have to be taken care of, now you're dealing with the structural change of the society. As soon as Dr. King started talking about massive civil disobedience, direct action of civil disobedience nationwide, because they asked him, 1967, do you still believe in nonviolence? He said, yes, I do. But what I believe in is massive civil disobedience. You know what Dr. King was talking about? Dr. King was talking about closing down America, downtown, closing down bridges, closing down airports, closing down the government, stopping the machinery so that it would be just totally shut down. Why? To address the issues of the poor. That's what he was dealing with, to address the issues of the poor. Martin started talking about a radical revolution in a change in our values. Martin started talking about that we as a people. Wait. Martin started talking about how the people have to go through a radical change in their value system. Martin started talking about the three evils. What was the three evils he talked about? 1, racism. 2, excessive materialism. And under materialism, he was talking about exploitation, economic exploitation of the poor. And then 3, militarism. Look at those 3 evils. Apply it to today. Racism, excessive materialism, and exploitation of the poor. And 3rd, materialism. Look where it's at today. In order to understand, you young people, in order for you to understand where to start today, you have to begin where they left off. Begin where Martin left off. Begin with 67, 68 Martin. What was he talking about? He was talking about imperialism. Do you know, brothers and sisters, unfortunately, the only people who don't know that America's an empire are Americans. Africans know, Europeans know, Latinos know. Everybody in the world knows that America's an empire except Americans. America's an empire. It's an imperial power. And if you go back to Martin Luther King's speech, why I opposed the war in Vietnam, not just on April 4th, 1967, a year to the day that he was killed, but if you go back, if you also go to the speech that he did in his own church about why he opposed the Vietnam War, Martin was teaching old black folk about imperialism. He was teaching old black folks about imperialism from the pulpit. These are some of the things that got Martin Luther King killed. And Martin understood, our leaders understand, that if our leaders keep going. If they keep going down a certain